And we're still giving you a lot more education on breast cancer because we have decided, despite only a day set aside, we have decided to dedicate October as the Breast Cancer Awareness Month on the AM show. And we're continuously making sure that we talk to not only survivors, but also those who are caregivers. And I have one of the greatest and more dedicated caregivers. We have given a lot more care to those who survive or go through breast cancer. And Grace Anim is with Breast Care International. Thanks for joining me, Auntie Grace.
Thank you.
But more importantly, I remember back in the early 2000s, I had to constantly interact with you as Breast Care International, and Dr. Refiadai was always available to do many of the education for us. If you look at those who tend to go through the disease in terms of when they are infected or affected, how tortuous is it? How terrible is it for them?
The stigma attached to the disease is what most of them do complain about, because they say that at times their relatives and friends, they don't call them by their name, but they say that breast cancer patient. That stigma is killing them. That stigma does not help them in recovery. So we want to create the awareness that breast cancer is a disease that can affect anybody, though it affects women more than men. It doesn't care of your qualifications, your wealth. It can affect you. Even if you are disabled, you can also have it. If you're a woman, so far as the breast is there, you are also in the risk group. So we shouldn't stigmatize them.
I remember in the early times of the work and you trying to give a lot more information about breast cancer. I mean, from the point of view of Breast Care International, you had to interact with a lot more of the women who were reporting late. Many of the problems that they had after going through the prayer camps and all that. Is that still a feature with the treatment and care?
You know, they have all sorts of ideas. Ake, yes. Instead of going to the hospital, so that they will be advised on the do's and the don'ts, they go about following people. And hearsay can never help you. They say, oh, there's a church here. If you go there and they put oil on your breast, the lamp will dissolve. Which is not true. This thing is in the blood, so we have to fight it in the blood. So going to the hospital is the surest way to cure the disease.
Now, for many of these people who constantly have to report to some of your facilities very late, what really is the reason why they have to go through all that journey before landing at the last point, the medical facility?
What they have in their mind is that the moment you go to the hospital, they will take off the breast. And they came to this world with two breasts. So to stay in the world with one breast, he would prefer to die than to keep only one breast.
So it means it's a perception.
It's a perception. So, and they think that at times when you take off one breast, it means in a year or two you are going to die, which is not true. We have survivors who are 50 years, 25. You know, a woman is very important in the family. If a woman is not in the family, the children, who will care for the children? And we should know that breast cancer is not contagious. And it doesn't come just one day. It takes many years to develop. So when you have it, because initially it's not painful, you wouldn't know. So we are encouraging every woman to do breast self-examination. And this year, our theme for Pink Month is don't be afraid. Get checked. Early detection, prompt action is equal to prevention.
For the women who tend to have a certain negative connotation about breast cancer, or perhaps if they do the initial diagnosis and the prognosis says that they do have a lump which is growing at a certain rate. Why do they have the negative perception? Is it because of cultural, tradition, or customs?
And that's why I said that they said that they came to this world with 2 breasts. So if the doctor says you would like to remove one, you prefer to die than to stay around with only 1 breast. And the stigma too. You know, this woman is called Auntie Araba. They won't call you Auntie Araba. That woman with the breast cancer. That is what kills them most. They tend to forget your name and call you with the disease, which is not good. And this disease is not contagious. At times, the way we treat them too, they neglect. Your own children will give you food, they just push it to you as if you are a dog, because they think when they come closer to you, they will get it. But breast cancer is not contagious. And we are treating everybody to take care of a relative, a mother. It can even be a father. Because if you show them a love and care, it will help them to recover faster. And it will strengthen them. But if we neglect them, their mind becomes loaded with thoughts. And even if you don't take care, he might be crossing the street. But because she or he is confused, a car might even knock him or her down. So this is what we don't want our patients to be treated, because it's sad to see your own children neglecting you and calling you a witch, which is not true. It's a disease like diabetes and hypertension. If you come to the hospital earlier, you can be cured.
And talking about stigma, we wanted to bring a survivor too. We're just having some hard time trying to get the right volunteers, etc., because many of them also had to call off the issues, and we do apologize for that. But of course, we're in the month, so we'll try as much as possible to make sure that we definitely bring a survivor to the studio to tell us their story. Do you get many people trying to volunteer to assist you do a lot more of the information, education, communication?
Some have given themselves up for that.
They've dedicated themselves.
Yes, but some, they won't come because they don't want people to know they have it. The stigma, I'm talking about the stigma attached to it. He doesn't want even his co-workers or her co-workers to know that he's a breast cancer patient, because if he doesn't take care, he'll be called with the name, with the disease, and not the real name. Because I know a lot of people, they can come and say all sorts of things, but on TV they won't come. On radio they will come, but on TV they won't come.
Then you are the right person to have to ask my next question then, because they constantly interact and will not go public. How do they feel? Those who perhaps maybe have gone through the disease,
okay,
whether they have one breast cut off, etc.
They are okay, but only they don't want people to know they have it. If somebody will know at all, it will be the husband and the children, not even the sisters. They will tell.
So it's always a very close knit.
Yes.
They try to keep it within the family.
Yes. They don't want people to know, because they will start calling you all sorts of names. And even when we talk a lot, and if you have a trouble with a fellow tenant, he will use it to make you unhappy. You even say that that's why you are cursed with the disease. But breast cancer is not a curse. It's not a curse.
Well, please make sure that constantly you are interacting with us, because we're streaming live on our Facebook page. Join Us on TV is the page's name. Please log on to Facebook, look for that very page, and you can send us a lot more of your interactive messages on Facebook. And then you get onto our platform on Twitter and also on WhatsApp through the number 0560 800,000. We would want to read a couple of those messages to you in the course of the program before we close this morning. But looking at how constantly people tend to have negative perceptions, then I'm assuming that those in urbanized or peri-urban areas don't tend to have negative perceptions at all, don't have stigma when they go through the cycle of treatment, and that it's only perhaps a lot more persistent in the rural community. Is that true?
No, not necessarily. The fact is, they don't want people to know they have the disease.
It doesn't matter where they live or where they grew up.
Educated people in high position. She doesn't want her co-workers to know that she has that disease. If somebody will know, the husband and the children. So we are educating Ghanaians to know their breast very well, because the disease initially is painless. So if you want to have pain, you'll be deceived. It's painless, and it takes many years to develop. It will be with you for a long time. But if you are somebody who know your breast very well, you fumble with it a lot. You know, one breast is bigger than you sitting down there. Which one is the biggest? Which one is because it comes. It doesn't follow one trend. It can be a bleed from the nipple, change on the skin of the breast, retraction, I mean the pulling in of the nipple, one becoming bigger than the other, a lump in the breast. And even what I know is not all breast lumps are cancerous. So don't get afraid that you have a breast lump. If we find a breast lump, it doesn't mean you've got breast cancer. More investigations need to be done before we can say that you have a breast cancer, because not all lumps are cancerous. Some are benign, I mean harmless. And if you have breast swelling, it doesn't mean you've got cancer. Lack of personal hygiene can contribute to that. Infection.
I see.
Lack of personal hygiene. You can get swelling of the breast. That doesn't mean you've got cancer.
Well, we are going to open the phone lines, and indeed the phone lines are available for you. 03022116991 or 2, and you can reach us. Please tell us your experiences. If indeed you're a survivor, it also helps to spice up a lot more of the conversations that we're having this morning. We're with Grace Anim, and she is with Breast Care International, one of the biggest organizations we can find in the sub-region, if not only Ghana, undertaking a lot more education and also treatment of women with breast cancer ailment, whether it's chronic or not, or they've been able to go through all that. But in the communities where you tend to do a lot more of the interactions and do the focus group discussions and interact with communities, do you have key opinion leaders helping you in this drive to make sure you send the education out there, in terms of the chiefs, the assemblymen, the top?
It hasn't been easy. At times, the assemblymen and the MPs, they organize themselves up and they invite us to their villages and they sponsor. But at times, too, the doctor will feel that, let's give them help. Voluntarily, then we go and then.
That is Dr. Riafiana.
Dr. Riafi.
We'll try to make sure.
Yes, yes. So no, it's not at all times that we get sponsors. It's not at all times. At times we do it on voluntary grounds.
So it's mainly the sort of sacrifice that you tend to go. We have Baba Ali. And Baba Ali, please, I want to know where you're calling from, and if you can give us a lot more of your comments, we'll be very much grateful.
Yes, my name is Baba Ali from Takrady.
Please go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, the question is that I'm very, very, very happy with your discussions. Okay, as the discussion breast cancer awareness. But I just want to make a small addition to whatever you are discussing. And the question I want to ask is that the breast cancer, if you come to where I live, most precisely Takrady, they say it's caused if you have a family member who has had a breast cancer, automatically your female children are likely to have that breast cancer. Is it true?
Okay, thank you very much, Baba Ali, and calling from Takrady.
We have something called risk factors, a situation in which when you find yourself, it increases your chance of getting breast cancer. I've already said that one risk factor is being a woman. Another risk factor is having a family history of breast cancer. If you have it, every woman in that family should be conscious of her breast, because it can strike again. And family history breast cancers are very, very aggressive.
This one is no witchcraft.
It's not witchcraft. I've already said that. It's not a curse. It's not witchcraft.
You know, Ghana, that's why we're trying to explain the things.
You know, the thing is dealing with blood, the issue of blood. Because we have.
And since you're connected with blood, it means that because you're all the same family.
We know a woman who has it. The children, some of the children were having it. The children, grandchildren had twins, and they too have it. And sisters, twin sisters, the two of them have it. So we realized that family history can be a #1 cause of breast cancer.
You are calling from what?
Have a lot of people who don't have any family history, and yet
they still have it.
They've got it.
Okay. You're calling from what? Please, your name. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, please. You're calling from what? Please, what's your name?
I'm Peter calling from what?
Oh, Peter.
Yes, sir.
Please give us your comment on our subject of discussion. We're discussing breast cancer, but also from the position of those who survive and the caregivers, because we've noticed that not a lot more of the survivors or even those who have the disease want to come out because of stigma. What do you have to say?
Actually, mine is a question. I don't know if you could help me.
Yes, please. We have the volunteer here from Breast Care International, and I'm sure she's ready to give you a lot more responses.
My wife, sometimes you complain of a breast itching. So I don't know what's possible to cause that, whether it's normal or...
I've already said that not all breast diseases are cancerous. Personal hygiene plays a very big role. Women, we sweat a lot around our breasts. So we should be mindful of the type of brassiere we wear. Ideally, in our climate here, cotton brassiere is the best. But it seems we don't make the cotton brassieres. We usually have it imported. So most of them are rayon and nylon, which are good retention of heat. Already we sweat around our breasts, and we use rayon and nylon brassiere. So obviously, the heat around the breast
can also have
increase,
some effect on
yes.
it. Okay.
And fungi, they thrive well on dampy areas. And since we sweat a lot around our breasts, it becomes damp. Therefore, when you go home and you undress, you realize that you scratch a lot around your breast.
Sure.
Because of the heat. You scratch, even you don't take care, you even get sore.
You get some bruises.
Yes. So we entreat women. In fact, if you cannot get cotton brassiere, is good absorber. It will absorb the sweat.
So particularly for Peter, who seems to have noticed that the wife feels very much uncomfortable with the breast, what should he be doing?
I'm sure his personal hygiene. This one. It's personal hygiene.
But you also advise that he goes for a checkup?
Oh yes, we entreat every woman, especially at age 40, to go in for your baseline mammogram, because I have already said that breast cancer initially is not painful.
We have Kumado. Kumado is calling from somewhere in the Volta region. Where are you calling from the Volta region?
Please, I'm calling from Pasa.
Kata.
Pasa, Volta.
Pasa. Volta North.
Yes.
Okay, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, please, my doctor reported to me yesterday with cry that he had gone to the screening at somewhere and it was detected that he's having some lines in the breast. So she was crying and she stays at my community tree. So I want to ask the nearest government facility that she can go for the checkup.
The daughter, he lives in Kwasa in the Volta region. The daughter who lives in Tema, I think said she experienced a lump in the breast. So what advice would you give for the daughter?
I've already said that not all breast lumps are cancerous.
But what she should be doing?
It could be benign. So the best thing is to go to a hospital. A scan will be done, and and the necessary investigations will be made. So that if it's benign, the doctor will tell you your lump is not dangerous. It's benign. If it's cancerous, then the necessary action will be taken.
From Tamale, we have Rashida on the line. Rashida, please go ahead with your question, or if you want to share any comments, I think we'll be grateful too.
Okay. Please, why can my question is, hello?
Please go ahead, Rashida.
Yeah, my question is, where can I find breast care international in Tamale? Because I've noticed that one of my I'm a breastfeeding mother too. Hello?
Please go ahead, Rashida.
I'm a breastfeeding mother. I've noticed that one of the breasts is lighter now. So I went to the hospital to complain. But when I went, the doctor told me to expose the breast. After exposing, when I told her that I was a breastfeeding mother, she just concluded that because I'm a breastfeeding mother, she didn't even touch the breast to see some. She just concluded that because I'm a breastfeeding mother, so I should go. That with time it will go. So I wanted to know where I can find Breast Care International, where I can get in Tamale, where I can get proper care for this. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Rashida. I know that you're watching. So
we are in Kumasi and Accra.
Okay.
So Kumasi is closer to Tamale. So you either come down to Kumasi, or in case you happen to be.
Where are you located in Kumasi?
Adum.
Okay.
Odium. Peace and Love is Odium.
Yes, I know your Peace and Love hospitals in Accra and Kumasi are very popular.
And Accra too, we are on the Spinters Road, behind Zenith Bank.
But for somebody like hers, she's breastfeeding, so what are the possibilities?
I think it's personal hygiene. I can contribute it to personal hygiene. Because when you are a breastfeeding mother, by all means, some of the breast milk will leak into your brazier. Some of your breast milk will leak into the brazier. And we know that milk easily contaminates. And breast milk is also milk. So when some leaks into the brazier, you get maggots in the brazier. But they are tiny, so you won't see them with your naked eyes. And you don't change the brazier. You after work, you hang it up on your bed. The following morning, you put it on. Mind you, the nipple is at the area where the breast milk leak to. So where the gogomi is, or where the maggots is the same place that will get attached to the nipple. And the breast milk came through tiny holes. So in case you have infection, they will go through the breast, through where the breast milk.
Those things that you're talking about, do they also contribute to breast cancer?
Breast problems.
Okay.
Because I've already said that not all breast diseases are cancerous.
Okay.
Personal hygiene plays the breast can get swollen, not necessarily being a breast cancer.
Okay.
But personal hygiene. So if you are a breastfeeding mother, change your brazier every day.
Very educative. We also have Sally. And Sally, you're calling us from Obuasi. How is Obuasi, Sally?
A question regarding a survivor. A sister of mine is a survivor, but she always doesn't want to share a story with other people. And another time I listened and I asked her, she said because you'll be exposed to the word, that's why she doesn't want to share a story with other people. So how can we do and then convince this sister who is a survivor?
But I would also want to ask some questions before Auntie Grace Enim, who is with Breast Care International, also comes in. Usually, does she empathize, or perhaps does she feel for those who, because she has gone through already, does she feel for those who already have been diagnosed, maybe new cases being diagnosed with a problem?
I didn't hear your question.
Does she empathize with how does she feel about the disease in itself and those who now are being constantly diagnosed with the disease?
I don't know. I don't know. Let's find out from her, because anytime, this is not the first time I've watched this program. And anytime I watch the program, I try to ask her to maybe also share her story with other people. But she's still
she's feeling reluctant. Well, thank you very much.
At Breast
so
Care.
what do we do?
Just be watching.
At Breast Care, we have association of survivors.
Okay.
Numbering about 2,000
across the country.
Yes. And 1st October, they all came for the work. when they have normal meetings where they discuss among themselves, their experiences. So I think he can come and join them, so that when they hear their side of the story,
don't she know that she's not alone?
She's not alone.
Because usually, sometimes, because of the stigma, they don't want to.
Yes, that's why we formed this association
of
breast cancer survivors.
Okay. Sally, you're not calling. I thought I rather mention Sally for the gentleman. Where are you calling from? Is it Obuasi, Sally?
Yes, Obuasi.
Okay. Please tell us what really sentiment you have. If you have a question too, but also if you're a survivor, we would want to know.
I have a contribution.
Please.
I went to the hospital.
Sally?
It's a comment.
Please go ahead, please.
Yeah. I went to the hospital to describe how I was feeling in my breast. It was like pains, and I thought it was because of something, a bra I was wearing. But the pain kept coming and going. I was thinking when I went, they would do a scan or something, but they just felt it and said because they can't feel anything, there is nothing. And I was wondering, because I've read that sometimes, even at the earlier stages, you can't feel anything. So I was thinking the scan would do, but they didn't do it because they touched it and said there was nothing.
Are you saying you're feeling pains?
Yes.
Okay. You're feeling pain, but it's not constant. It goes and comes.
Yes.
If you say not constant, every 2 days or every month or what does it?
Like for some time I'll be feeling it, and by the time I'll be conscious of it, I can't feel it again. So
but do you feel a lump in the breast?
The thing is, I don't actually know what to expect when I'm trying to feel it. Maybe I don't really know it very well.
Wow. Well, thank you very much, Sally. And Sally was calling from a
That's why we are telling every woman to have monthly checkups on your own, in your own privacy. If you are a menstruating woman, get 2 or 3 days to your menstrual period.
You'll feel something.
You feel pains in your breast. The breast also become lumpy. That is not the time to check your breast. 2 or 3 days after, when that pains have gone and it's not lumpy, fumble with the breast. You use the palmar aspect of the hand, the place we use to powder our feet. This is the very sensitive part of the hand. Fumble with the breast. Do it in rotation, circular rotation. Go around. If you start from here, go around till you come back to where you started. If you do it constantly, your hand will get used to the breast.
Like this?
Yes, you start from here, and then you go around the breast. So you come.
So we know for no different.
Yeah. Your palmar aspect will get used to the breast. So when there is any change, you'll be aware. Because at times, some women come to the hospital and they say that my husband says I have lump. My husband says I have a lump.
But sometimes,
because you men fumble with the breast. When there is a change, at times you are able to find it.
Yeah.
Because your fingers are used to how it is. When there's any abnormal change.
The contours.
Yes. So what about you, the rightful owner of the breast? Don't think that if you two fumble with your breast regularly, you will get used to it. So that when there's any abnormality, you can also.
But you recommend that Sally goes to Kumasi because Obuasi and Kumasi is not far.
It's not far.
So if you can, is it Odium? Odium.
Near St. Louis Secondary School.
Near St. Louis.
Odium Market.
You'll find Peace and Love Hospital there, and that's where Breast Care International. Peace and Love Hospital is a facility, but they run an NGO, Breast Care International, and they do the education. And that's where Auntie Grace Anim is coming from. And thanks very much. And you speaking from the point of how the survivors feel, even though you're not, because you constantly interact with them. And that's what we wanted to portray to you. Make sure that from the point of the caregiver, we're able to tell you the story about how the survivors think or feel. Because constantly we're told by the experts that the survivors seem not to be coming out a lot more to speak on the subject because of the stigma that we as people in society tend to attach to the survivors or those who go through breast cancer. But it is the Pink Month, the Breast Cancer Awareness Month on the AM show, and at least for every Monday before the month closes, we will try as much as possible to bring you a lot more information on breast cancer. And then we're hoping that at least we can be lucky the next time and bring you a survivor in the studio to tell us a story from their own perspective. But that's where we call a break on the segment. Next, we'll be discussing the subject of the election, monitoring from the experts, but also how the media is reporting the issues and how those issues are being perceived or accepted by the voters.